One of my favorite parts about single-player story games is the sense of adventure you feel while playing them. I love when games are able to make it feel like you as a player have gone on this massive journey from start to finish. Those are the types of games that typically leave a lasting impression in my memories and create some unforgettable experiences. A lot of my favorite games of all time always have this sense of adventure and typically leave me feeling sad and empty once I finish them, because you grow connected to the story, the characters, and the adventure itself, and when it ends, it just leaves a gaping hole in your soul. This is the best and worst feeling in the world for those who know what I'm talking about, but I know when a game makes me feel like this, it's a damn good video game. Whenever I finish a massive adventure type of game, I like to think back at where we were at the start of the game and how much has changed by the end. Again, my favorite games of all time do this very well. The Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, The Last of Us, God of War, but there's a few Assassin's Creed games that I feel capture this sense of adventure really well, and I think Black Flag probably does the best job of this, but there are definitely some others in the series that I'll give some honorable mentions to later. But I even said in my video, Black Flag, but when I die the video ends, something or some things about Black Flag do a fantastic job of creating that feeling of adventure that not every game has. So I want to talk about what I think those things are, and why Black Flag in particular excels at it. So what makes for a good adventure? Well, to me, like I said, when embarking on a massive journey or adventure in a game, you should feel completely different at the end of the game than how you felt at the start. And it's not any one particular thing that creates that feeling, but multiple factors. There's the story part. Edward Kenway's story is your classic hero's journey. In fact, let's call it the assassin's journey. The hero, in this case Edward, embarks on a quest where he goes through constant ups and downs, loses people close to him, and most importantly, grows and becomes a very different person by the end of the game. I believe Black Flag has one of the best ending scenes in the entire series. Not only is the Parting Glass, sung by Anne Bonny, absolutely beautiful, but the entire scene really takes a moment for you to reflect on the entirety of the game. The lyrics of the song also happen to perfectly reflect Edward's journey, of how he was once greedy and selfish as he's saying goodbye to his pirate life and preparing to depart forever. Edward sees all his old friends as he reminisces, and hardly any of them are still left at his side. The pirate life is over, the fantasy is over, and all that's left is a hollow shell of what it used to be. Edward has now matured and agreed to fight for the assassins and fight for a cause bigger than himself. It's a stark contrast of where he was at the beginning of the game, and with everything that happened throughout the story, it makes you feel as if you've lived through the past 7 years with Edward, when in reality, it was like a 20-hour story. That's another part of it that I think really helps. The story takes place over 7 years, and the development feels a lot more gradual. Knowing that years have passed since the start really helps enforce that feeling of adventure. Hence why I believe Assassin's Creed 2 also captures the sense of adventure extremely well. Only that story is over the course of 23 years, and you get to see Ezio develop essentially over half his life. So I think in these games specifically, I think time passing plays a big part in capturing that feeling. The other big factor that goes into Black Flag feeling like one massive adventure is that it's a pirate game, obviously. I mean, so much of the pirate life is about adventure. Sailing on a ship on the open seas, visiting different lands and cities, feeling the freedom of the massive world around you, where you have the power and control to go anywhere you want. You know you're playing a video game, but it still feels like you're traveling the world and exploring all sorts of places. And the fact that all these massive locations and cities exist within this large space really helps sell the illusion. Just getting on the jackdaw and sailing on the blue open water to wherever I please is one of the main draws of Black Flag for me. It almost feels therapeutic. I don't even need a destination, I can just sail to some random place and go exploring. Not many other Assassin's Creed games, or games in general, can offer that feeling, or at least not to the scale that Black Flag does. I'll actually praise Odyssey here because despite all the constant controversy around that game, I think that's something it also captures very well with its massive open world. I believe Origins does a great job of this too, although it's not quite the same as Black Flag where you get to sail on your ship freely. All these games though give you that grand sense of adventure, and adventure doesn't even necessarily have to correlate with the length of a game either. Sure, longer games may be able to take advantage of this more by getting its players attached to its world and journey over a longer period of time, but many shorter games are capable of accomplishing this feeling in shorter runtimes as well. I mentioned The Last of Us earlier. That game is only around, what, 15 hours for the main story? However, in that game, so much happens throughout your journey, and you quite literally get to travel across the United States. It takes the time to show you all the different environments and all the locations Joel and Ellie traverse through on their journey. It dedicates so much time to world building. This might sound very weird, but even a game like Resident Evil 7 gave me this feeling. Resident Evil 7 takes place in essentially one location over the course of one night, and yet it's able to create that feeling of adventure. By the end of the game, it feels like you went through and persevered through so much trauma and adversity. It feels so rewarding to come out on the other side and see the morning sunshine. So there are plenty of ways to create a sense of adventure in video games, but again, in the Assassin's Creed series, I think Black Flag and AC2 does this the best, but Black Flag has the advantage of the pirate theme, one that runs on the ideals of freedom and adventure. But with AC2, how often do you get to see the birth of a character and half their life all condensed into one really well written and paced story? From start to finish, these adventures are so fulfilling, which is why they likely make us feel so empty once they end. But all things must come to an end, and the ending is so crucial to the overall adventure, and luckily, Black Flag has one of the best in Assassin's Creed. Darby McDevitt knows how to end games. The endings for all the AC games he's written have been of the best in the series, and every time I hear The Parting Glass, I think back to that first time I played Black Flag and the incredible adventure I went on from start to finish. I'm hoping Assassin's Creed Mirage can manage to capture this feeling, which is why I want to see Basim start the game as a street thief, then as an assassin recruit, and hopefully we get to see him end it as mentor. I'm not sure if any game in the series though, now or ever, will be able to capture the feeling of adventure in the unique way Black Flag did. It's truly a one-of-a-kind game and experience. Who knows, maybe someday we'll see the return of Edward Kenway and be able to helm the Jackdaw once again. With Assassin's Creed Nexus, they are bringing back Connor and Ezio, which I'm really excited about. So, if that does well and they make a sequel for that, perhaps they'll bring back Edward as well. I think that would be really cool, but either way, we'll always have Black Flag to return to. But let me know down in the comments what you think. Do you like games that have a sense of adventure? And do you feel Black Flag does the best at capturing that feeling in the series? I'm curious what you guys think about this. As always, if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and considered subscribing to the channel if you're new. We might have hit 200k as I'm making this video, so thank you so much everyone. I plan to make a special video for that. But aside from that, thanks for watching and enjoy the adventure that is life, Assassins.